Hi, I'm the Moorlander and this is Moorlander EDC, outdoors again with some outdoor clothing. Today we are here to look at the Helikon Tex SFU Next MKII Pants. Now before I go into this a little bit further, it's probably important to stress there are two versions of these. There are the SFU, which I believe stands for Special Forces Unit. So the SFU Next Mark I, or just the SFU Next Pants, and there's the SFU Next Mark II, which are the ones that we're going to have a look at today. If at any point I refer to these as the SFU Next Pants and forget to add the Mark II on the end, I do apologise. I'm not trying to confuse things. I just simply have forgotten to add the Mark II. In fact, maybe I'll just call them the Mark II from now on. I don't have any experience with the first iteration of these. However, if you're interested, maybe I'll pick up a pair of the originals and maybe do a comparison piece. I know you guys like to see the comparisons so that you can look at the differences between the SFU Next Pants and the SFU Next Mark II Pants, which are the ones that we're going to have a look at today. Completely overgilded the lily on that. Let's continue and have a look at the Mark IIs. Now, another important thing to stress at this point as well. So I am a 36-inch waist. I am 5'10". The size that I'm wearing today for Helikon Tex is an EU extra large or a US large, and this is a 36-inch and it fits me perfectly. For these I opted for the regular leg, which is a 32-inch leg. They're just maybe half an inch to an inch too long for me. However, that's fine. I certainly don't have any issues with that. Sometimes I'm a 30-inch leg, sometimes I'm a 32-inch leg, because they're never really 30 or 32. But these are an extra large 36-inch waist regular, and they fit me perfectly, in fact. Now, as far as colours and materials are concerned, plenty of colours with these. I believe the originals, the SFU Next Pants, have a few more different colours than the Next Mark IIs have, but they're still available in several different colours, whether they're flat colours. The ones that I have here, these are the OD green ones, but you know, you've got all the other kind of khaki, black, grey, those sort of colours, and then I believe there are a couple of camos with them as well. The material that these are made from a very nice poly cotton blend. A lot of the ones that we've looked at recently err on the side of the poly, which does make them warm, especially in hotter climates around the world. I know a lot of you do ask about that, mainly because of where you are. It is quite warm. Here in the UK today, it's about 23, 24 degrees, which, I mean, for the UK, that's reasonably warm. And I will say that I've been wearing these for the majority of the day, and they're great. So no issues around those temperatures. I can imagine if those temperatures crept up a little bit, they would get warmer, but at the end of the day, they are a full length trouser, so that would make sense anyway. Now, going through the features as we usually do, we will start at the top here on the waistband, and I'm happy to confirm, because I know a lot have been asking about waistbands that don't have hook and loop. A lot of Helikon Tex waistbands do have hook and loop closures on here, and I'm happy to confirm that these are fairly traditional closures. So you have buttons. How nice is this? You have these really tough plastic buttons, and then rather than having a zip, you have a button closure on the fly as well. Super old school, but I said this in a previous piece of content that there's just something about button flies. They just make me feel just a little bit more manly. But yeah, really nice on here. Everybody knows how to do up a button fly. We've been doing it for decades. You don't even have to have a look down whilst you're doing it, because you just know what you're doing. It's muscle memory. Whereas with some of the hook and loop ones, you do kind of have to have a look down to make sure you've got that hook and loop panel in the right position. No issues with that whatsoever. I love these because they're just old school style pants or trousers. Now, through the around the waist, this is a 50mm belt from Core Essentials, love those guys. As far as the belt loops, so you have 2 here just on either side of your hip bone. As you come round, you then have 2 that are pretty much, well actually maybe just behind the sides, and then you come round to the back, and then you have 2 central ones here. On the front, below the 2 front loops, you also have 2 loops on here. So if you have any tools or anything that you like to keep in your pocket that you know that you regularly lose, then you can lash something to those so that you can take it in and out, and they'll never come away. Now, an extra point that I do want to show is, I probably shouldn't have done this up, but very similar to those old school pants like you'd get on the M65s. So you do have some hook and loop on here. So if for some reason you are without a belt and you just want to tighten these up just a little bit, you can pull that in and you can pinch an extra 2 or 3 inches. So if you are kind of in between sizes and you don't wear a belt, like some absolute psychopath, why would you not wear a belt anyway? Then you can, you can adjust those on the side. Apologies to any psychopaths out there that don't like to wear a belt. It is weird though, let's face it. Anyway, where was I? Getting this back in here. Anyway, okay, cool. So there's your waist closure. Oh, I suppose another thing to point on here, there isn't any elastic on the back like you do get with some of, let's call them the modern day interpretations of tactical pants that you get from Helikon Tex. They're just fairly traditional pants. So on the front, you have 2 jeans style top down pockets, not chinos where you come in from the side. These are straight down. I will say an observation with these, sorry about, we have a plane flying over at the moment. So where these are situated, it's very close to this seam. So when you're sat down, when you're walking, these pockets just fit into that seam, which does make it very difficult to get things out of these pockets, or at least being able to put your hands in. Hopefully, as you'll notice here, I have to kind of slide my fingers in and then force my hands. Once our hands in, you know, they're in, they're fine, there's no issues. But again, just an observation that it's just a little bit trickier to get your hands into these. Now, the advantage of that is that if you do have something in your pockets, it's harder for that to fall out. So, you know, there's advantages and disadvantages to either sides of the argument with that. Here on my left-hand side, I have my mobile phone, which is a Google Pixel 8, fits in perfectly, and then I have my keys on this side. Now the size of these pockets are a little bit smaller than some of the others, so I can put my thumb against there. I believe this is about 7 inches from here to here. Again, you know, I think for everyday use, certainly no issues, but because you have these additional pockets on here, if there are larger items that you need to fit into your main pockets, then you can just move them elsewhere. Underneath these 2 main pockets, you then have these utility pockets here, which for generally how these are designed is for 5.56, and I have tried these, so 5.56, 7.62. Both style magazines do fit into here. Your larger ones clearly aren't going to fit in here. They also have like a lip, you know, how similar to how, fellas, you'll know this one, on your boxers, where you have that kind of reach in, reach round kind of thing. So you have a lip and then you have another lip underneath there. Works in a similar fashion, but you kind of put things in and then they're in. The Pixel 8 does stick out a little bit at the top if you were going to use this for your mobile phone, but again, these are intended really to be ammunition slots so that you've always got something, so it's there and there. And there's everything that you'll see hopefully today is completely symmetrical. So whatever you have on the left, you also have on your right, and you have those 2, we'll call them utility pockets for now. Then past those, and I'll show you this one on my left leg here, but as previously mentioned, it's exactly the same on my right leg here. You then have you have a thigh pocket. these open rather than having a button or anything like that sort of fixture or closure on here. Just on the back here, hopefully you'll see that there's a little piece of webbing, just so that you've got something to pull on. But even if that wasn't there, I generally find when I pull on here from the front. But you can lift this up, you hear a little bit of a squeak, and then you have this large pocket. Now, getting back to my span, so my span from the tip of my baby finger to my thumb is exactly 9 inches. I can put my hand in here with probably an extra ½ inch worth of wiggle room, and then when I get my hand in, it goes in past my watch, so whatever that distance is, roughly about 8 inches. So really nice and deep. Now I will say, so there's no additional organisation. You do get some from Helikon Tex where you might have some smaller pockets on the inside so that you can put tools or EDC items into those. These are a fairly minimal, I guess we could call it a minimal pocket. Is that a thing? But it is just a single pocket with no additional organisation on the inside. Also with these pockets as well, so when I lift this up, it kind of folds back and allows me to get in and out should I need to. But these aren't the style where this flap will completely go into the pocket. Although you can try, I mean it does. But in that respect, when this comes up here again, so let's take this back a step. So on this side, this all lifts up and this clears off. The way that the front or this flap is stitched, it's actually stitched over the front of the pocket. So if you do, I don't know, put something in there, you're walking around, you're doing whatever it is that you need to do, your hands brushing against it, they instinctively want to try and close rather than staying open. That's just a pure observation. Whether that's good for you or that's bad for you, you know, that's down to you guys to decide. Exactly the same on this side. There you've got your, in fact I've got my lens cap in there, and yeah, so they're all of your pockets. Now the extra pockets, hopefully as you would expect, are here on the rear. Oh, that rhymed. So you have two, and I'll call these traditional jeans style pockets. So they're roughly maybe a few inches below your waistband, just pretty much central on each of your buttocks. Fairly large, I will say as well, reasonably deep. Are probably the same again, you know, I can get my hand open like that. And then, you know, I've got my wallet in that side. But again, you know, fairly standard pockets. Now the closure on these pockets, they don't have button closures. Sorry, I'm struggling with this one for a second. They don't have button closures. Remember me saying on this one here how you've got this top seam that kind of goes over the pocket, so you have to go in and then down. So these are the same. Now I will say they do tend to want to just keep open because you're moving around and they just want to stay open anyway. But it does mean that to get into these you have to kind of lift that to then go in. So hopefully if you have a wallet, maybe if it rides up, it'll get caught on this before it falls out. So they're your pockets. If you're enjoying the content today and you'd like to support my channel, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button below. If you do choose to do that, I'd like to say a huge thank you and welcome on board into the Moorlander community. Now back to today's content. Now after that, moving down the leg, over the knee, there is a small pocket within this knee so that you can put some additional padding into here. It opens here at the bottom, so hopefully you'll hear the hook and loop opening. It's a reasonably small opening to this, so rather than that super thick dense padding that you can get for some of these are designed mainly to have those kind of thinner padding that's just a little bit more minimal, but also means that you can move your knee and you can climb through things a little bit easier. You probably could fit some of the denser, thicker stuff in here. It's going to be a bit of a wrestle to get it in. It's probably going to be a pain to take it out, or you probably just leave it in there if you do want to wash them. But yes, there is some pockets on the knees so that you can put some padding in here. on the back of the calf. Now, different to some other newer style tactical pants like the MKII pants and some of the ones that we've seen from Helikon Tex as well, or some from Arctis, they don't have those fastenings across the back of the calf to kind of pull everything in. They're a fairly straight traditional style leg. You then come down, let's just squat down for this, then come down to the cuff at the bottom here. The cuff is a single cuff at the front, but at the back there is some additional material on here because this is a hardware area, especially on the back here, so that's on there. And then you also have some drawstrings here, so should you want to pull these tighter, you certainly can do. Or if for some reason you want to attach that to your lace, you can attach that to your lace as well. Now, as far as lace attachments are concerned, they don't have a hook that would attach to there. You'd have to do it the old-fashioned way by tying it to your laces with the webbing that's attached to these. So there you have it, the Helikon Tex SFU Next MKII Pants. I think the beauty of these pants is how, and I'm going to use the term simple, they are. These are a fairly traditional, bloody flies, fairly traditional tactical cargo pair of pants, and there is definitely a beauty to that. Some of these pants that you see nowadays that are all singing, all dancing with drawstrings on the knee, the what's at the back of the calf, pockets, I mean pockets on the ankles. They possibly could have added a pocket on the ankle. That might have been nice. I know a few of you might possibly have used that. But these feel a little bit more like the M65 pants, kind of. I know they're not similar, and somebody go, they are definitely not like those. But it's just those old school, and I'm gonna, again, simple, traditional, outdoor, tactical pants, which I really do like about these, because they're also a little bit more low-key as well. You can look at them and you can see the pockets on here, but they just look more similar to maybe something like a pair of Craghoppers pants or something from Fjallraven, rather than something that looks uber tactical. Certainly when I go into the office, when I go into the studio that I work at, wearing these, again, it's not another day where they're like, wow, Randy looks a little tactical today. They just look like a nice pair of cargo pants, and yes, I really do like these more so than some of the uber tactical pants that I've looked at in the past. Maybe that's the difference. Maybe I've not really thought into that too much. The tactical pants that I've looked at in the past are great for airsoft. They're great for just doing stupid stuff in, whereas for these, for just an everyday style pair of pants, an everyday pair of trousers, they're probably more suited to that. However, I've done several walks in these and they've been very comfortable. I've not had any issues with them whatsoever. So these maybe are more of a bridge pant between something that is more outdoors and something that you can just wear on a day-to-day basis. I hadn't really thought a little bit into that, but that probably does make a little bit more sense. So yes, Helikon Tex SFU Next MKII. Now, I did mention at the beginning of this, so I haven't tried the SFU Next pants. If you'd like me to pick up a pair and maybe I'll do a comparison, there must be some subtle differences between the two of them, that I'm more than happy to do that. So let's hear in the comments if that's something that you'd be interested in. Now, I do want to say a huge thank you to Military First. Military First did send these to these. I've worked with Military First now for the last 5 years. Also, I think I'm about 6 years old now, so it must be about 5.5 years. Absolutely awesome company. They're one of the UK's largest and leading outdoors, tactical, military, adventuring online retailers. They're just a stone's throw from the Kingdom of the Moorlands in Manchester. Really nice crowd, really nice guys, great company. So I'd want to say a huge thank you to those. I do have a discount code, which is Moorlander 10, which gives you 10% off non-sales items. Very important that I stress that point, it's non-sales items. If it's already got 30% off, they do regularly have very good sales. It doesn't give you an extra 10%, it's just off non-sales items, but you can save some money hopefully with that if they're not already in in the sales. So yes, of course, I'll leave some links below so that you can see more from these pants and Helikon Tex and where to pick them up from Military First. I'll also leave some of my social media links here on Moorlander EDC and my sister channel Moorlander Tactical. And no matter which channel, which platform you're watching this on, whether it's YouTube or Rumble, as always, stay safe, stay Moorlander, and stay EDC. Shall we go and shoot some B-roll, children? Shall we? Shall we? Let's shoot some B-roll. Yes, it'll be spiffing with lashings and lashings of fern and greenery in the background. Spiffing. The Helikon Tex SFU Next Nexus. And yeah, they're just right. No, start that again. You sound like a dick. You sound like a dick. A dick. Where was I? Now, as far as materials and colours are concerned with these, colours-wise, as you get with a lot of Helikon Tex pants, my keys are digging in me at the moment. That's a bit weird. It felt bizarre. Flies. Guys, it is warm today. Not warm in the grand scheme of things. I know there's a lot of you in some incredibly warm countries, but for the Kingdom of the Moorlands, it is on the warm side. It is erring on the side of warmth. The paparazzi are at it again. They're trying to work out what I'm doing next. Get off my land! Get out of my airspace! I don't even see him. I can hear him. Anyway, how are you doing? How are you doing? You good? Hope you're good. Hope you're all having a good week, whatever day this, whatever day this comes out. Super cool, man, super cool. Yeah. See you in a bit. You can go now.